welcome back to another Mask of Momentum video. Peter here. We're going over the finals here of the battle Hardened from Memphis. We got Prism versus Cindra. Cindra taking down the calling on the hands of Brody Spurlock in that deck that was built by Yuki. That full red line kind of a Cindra, but talking to Jacob has a little bit of a different approach to it. He has Snapdragon Scalers in the Snapdragon for his boots instead of the block one Draconic one as well. Kevin has a little bit of a difference of his armor as well. Has a Stonewall Gauntlet, which is something is plussed. It's going to give -1 for the chain here as well, and it blocks for 1. See how the difference is going to be. Kevin here going first usually wants to try to force through some damage if he can get a Herald hit as well. Really trying to get through it. Did have the play draw potential and actually chose to be on the play here. Looks like we have a Light of Soul and a couple of Heralds here. Don't know if Jacob's Cindra deck is playing any blues or not. That is something that a lot of people thought about Cindra. It's like, do you play blues? Do you not play blues? I think most of the lists before this tournament came out had a lot of blues in the Cindra list, and then obviously basically had a full red line list. We're actually going to pitch to give Ward 1 here. Is actually going to leave. Okay, if it's yellow, you put in your soul. Actually, just want to leave that Figment on top. So what else Kevin wants to do on this turn? Has an Arclight Sentinel as well. It's just going to play the Arclight Sentinel. Basically just going to say, hey, I don't have a good turn, and you don't have a good turn anymore. You just have to attack into my Arclight Sentinel. There's nothing else. Yep, it's in a 1 for 5. Looks like he had actually a pretty awkward hand here from Jacob, as it looks like had 2 finishers in his hand, had 1 starter and an essential empowerment as well. I don't know what Kevin really was pitching to. Oh, looks like he just wanted to get one of the Figments out of his hand because he had triple Figment in his hand and can't really get it out. So he pitches to the chess piece to get it out of his hand here. So when he attacks for 6, he can just arsenal the last one if he really wanted to, or actually probably does filter it with the chess piece as well. If he doesn't want it in his hand, he probably doesn't also want it in his arsenal. You have to pay 4 for those Figments, which is a lot of resource cost. You don't really want to draw them from the prison side, those 1 of silver bullets. They are yellow, so you can pitch them like he is to get through. See if Jacob is going to block this Herald or not. Deck does not really block too much from the Cindra side. Has a couple of 3 block, has a decent amount of 3 blocks in the deck, but it's not the most important things. See what you want to do. Yep, I'm going to get that Ponder token here. Let's see if he pitches to the chess piece first and just kind of blind flips that Ponder there, because I don't think he really wants to keep that as well. But yep, pitches to the chess piece. Jacob getting a little bit head nod saying that, yep, that is pretty bad here. Drawing all those Figments here. Can't really do anything with a 4-card hand that you got again. Yeah, turn 0, basically didn't get anything on there. This turn, that free turn from the Arclight Sentinel didn't really get much value out of this either. Is just going to attack for 6, put something in the thing, and we got that Ponder token. Finally getting another Herald here into the arsenal. It's going to be a little bit better here. Going to draw up. Jacob here looks like he just has one of those good starts here from Cindra. Yeah, to start with an Ignite, going to be 2 with Go Again here. The next thing costs 1 less, so Kunai is going to come in for 1 here, kind of for free here. What you can do now is you can keep going, keep attacking throughout the chain. So it takes the 1 off the kunai as well. Now we have another 3 go again here. Now this is the interaction with the flick knives and the mask momentum here. If Kevin blocks this for 3, you can flick knives that kunai already on the chain to deal additional 1. But actually it looks like he's just on a non-block here. Let him draw the card off the mask momentum. Now we have Run Renegade, a 0 for 4, and a breaking point, and we don't know what's in Jacob's arsenal. Didn't really get to see what it was when he originally put it there or on this turn, but we do just have another 0 for 3. There's going to be that Ancestral Empowerment draw on card here. Looks like we have double of that 0 for 4. That makes everything cost less if there's a fealty here. Probably just going to pitch it for that breaking point here, if I had to assume. Keep the 0 for 4 in the arsenal as well. But actually is going to come in for the 4 here. No blocks. He's going to use the Snapdragon Scalers just to push the max amount of damage on this turn. And then he's going to use the kunai here with the flick knives. Going to use the chess piece as well to get that resource token. The 1 resource from this turn. And then he's going to play that breaking point as well. And then arsenal there. This one, you know, giving up your boots here for that go again. But probably not a lot of choices here. So come in with another 5, making Kevin make the decision, hey, do you want to block this or destroy your arsenal? Breaking Point, always one of those pretty good cards here in a lot of those Draconic Ninjas. Didn't see too much play back in the Phi days. Is going to get back the kunai and then break the chain here. And then he's no arsenal of that other 0 for 4. Draw up from Jacob. We got that 5 with Dominate here. From Kevin's side, this is the little bit of the punish here for not having the boots, because if you have the boots, sometimes you can have the defensive reaction, you block the boots and the defensive reaction here, but this one is going to be, does Jacob let this hit? Okay, so Jacob is playing Snatch in his deck. That is something that, like, not a lot of the Cindra decks have been playing, at least that Yuki list was not playing Snatch. They were just playing, you know, the Draconic Link. You can give go again to the Draconic cards. It blocks for additional 1. A little bit more utility in there as well. See if he gives any respect to this Herald of Erudition. So then maybe block 3 and give up the helmet. Ooh, has to give up the chess piece, the helmet, and that blocking card. So he's gonna give up most of his armor besides that flick knives, actually. And just does have another Herald of Erudition here from Kevin's side. Jacob's going to let this one hit, take 5. Kevin's going to get a draw 2 here. This one does not have go again, though, but is going to get another Figment here from Prism. Is going to be able to flip it as well. So the on-hit effect realistically was not that impactful here of drawing 2 cards on the second Erudition. The first one, very good. The second one didn't really matter too much. Kevin does get an arsenal from this as well. Can filter a card if he wants to, or just arsenal one. Most likely is going to flip one of these Figments here. Just try to stop some of the damage Jacob is doing. Now Kevin's already at 12 here. So maybe that a little bit of the reason why Jacob did block with multiple pieces of armor here. Yeah, is going to flip the protection, the Herald of Protection here. Becoming very particular of what he wants to do. He's going to Arsenal. One of these cards draw back up here. Jacob making it all the way to the finals from the 8th seed. Got the brand for 3 here. 3 with go again. No blocks here is going to just take that Figment, get the basically a free block on the next turn from flipping it. Then we have 4 with go again here, and things are going to cost 1 less for the rest of the chain. There's going to be cards, not activated abilities, so it's just going to be a 0 for 4. Not with like the kunai. You can like attack with this, and then kunai. Just going to make those 1 cost actually free that you saw earlier, if he has one in his hand. But this is going to be 4 with go again here. Haven't seen Jacob make a fealty token yet this game, but that brand of Cinder Claw allows a lot of stuff to happen, as you saw in, you know, the Yuki list from the Calling. Played 6 brands. The only yellow in the deck was additional 3 of those brands. Be a Blaze Headlong for 4. Go again. You have 3, 4, 4 here. Super, super powerful. The numbers on the Cindra deck, so impactful. Asking the question, does your opponent want to block it every single time or not? Just thinking about giving up the Stonewall Gauntlets here. It is kind of just an Iron Rot. Doesn't get the additional effect because anything is not pumped. So I'm going to take 1 here. Then we have that Snatch for 4. This is the little bit of the giveaway. You know, you're playing Snapdragon Scalers. You're probably going to play Snatch in your deck. If so, you know, flick with the kunai and then, you know, bring it back. Get that free point of damage from the flick knives as well, because you went 3, 4, 4, 4, 1. So you just basically attack for 16 with 4 cards here. It's pretty good. Then we have a Herald of Tenacity here. There's going to be 6 with Dominate. You know, we don't really have any of the equipment left, just have the flick knives. So this is Tenacity is definitely going to hit, even if we have a defensive reaction in hand. Can only block technically, you know, 4 plus 1. This would be 5. So this Herald definitely is going to hit here. Take 6, going down to 23. Just thinking about some of these Figments here. He's actually going to put Rebirth here. Is thinking about putting the Herald of Erudition back on top of the library. That's going to be super powerful. It has Dominate here. Jacob doesn't have any armor here to stop the Erudition besides the flick knives and maybe a defensive reaction. We have not seen a defensive reaction from Jacob yet. We don't even know if he's playing it in his list specifically. Most likely, Shelter's very good card. Would be able to block for 4 here. Yeah, putting it that Erudition in there is going to flip the Figment as well. This one gets to draw 2 cards and is going to draw 2 cards here. So we got 4 go again off the Soraya Angel. This Angel, one of my favorite ones, looks so cool. Also the most powerful one in the deck. Being able to draw 2 cards is just insane. Not many draw 2 mechanics left in the game anymore. And then we're actually going to keep that Erudition in Arsenal. We could do a 1 cost, which is perfect. It's going to be the War-Torn Herald for 7. James going to take it. Going down to 12 here. We have another Prism activation. We're just probably going to get anything here Just gonna do 1 arcane damage to our opponent. Yep. So you put our opponent to 11. To do all the amount of damage that we can. Maybe we can flip the Figment of Ravages and then banish another card to deal additional arcane damage here. Maybe later into the game. Something Prism does have against these go wide strategies like Cindra is that you can pop the helmet to get the Figment that gives -1 to everything for this turn. To basically halt a lot of the damage that would be dealt. Jacob attacking for 3 here. He could Flick Knives one of these kunais to try to kill Soraya specifically. Looks like we have 2 1-for-5s in this hand as well. Doesn't look like really a good hand from Jacob. So we got a breaking point. We have another 1-for-5. Kevin really thinking about this decision here. Has the gem in his hand. Okay, is going to Flick Knives trying to get this Ward 4 out currently. Let's see what Kevin wants to do. He can pitch to his chess piece, which he's going to do. And he's going to ward 1 here. So he's going to ward the Flick Knives activation. So the 3 damage will go into the Herald here. So we can actually prevent that damage. Nice sequencing here from Kevin. Oh, this does not look like a good hand at all. Just has multiple 1-for-5s. Yeah, it's going to be 2 and then there. And then we have a Lava Burst that's going to be put into Arsenal from Jacob's side as well. Problem with playing all these the good thing about these 1-for-5s is that it's going to be your chain ender. You only want to draw 1. But when you draw multiple of them at the same turn, it is not that good. Art of Dragonfire is not arcane damage, it just deals 2 damage. It's not something you can prevent unless you're gonna flip up maybe a Figment or something like that, which Kevin can do. There's 2 resources left. You could take 2 off of the Art of Dragonfire, going down to 5, flip one of the angels, and then block for 4. Alright, it's just actually already took the 2 and gonna block 3 here on the 5 and then take another 2. No, did not resolve the 2 first, so actually went down to 5 and then went down to 3. Then he's gonna flip this post damage, so didn't want to prevent with it. You wanted it on the field here. This is the Ravages one. This is the one that will deal arcane damage. If it hits, if there's something to put into soul. But we have that erudition here, and the Light of Soul trigger. It is going to be a yellow. It is going to put it into soul. It's not going to trigger Prism because it's not a Herald, but it is going to be. Now you gotta put it in there. There's no way that you don't with the Archangel right there as well. You got 5 go again here. With Dominate, remind you. Jacob only has block 1 on his arms. He's going to take the full 5 here, going down to 6. Erudition is going to go into Soul, draw 2, and is going to get another Figment. Just going to thin his deck. These are these non-blocks that you don't really want to see. Most likely he's going to keep the one that does -1. Maybe he can get his opponent at one time. He's going to get the Courage token out. This is going to be that additional +1 on the Courage. Very particular at this time. 3 to 6 here. Coming down to it here. Jacob still has 4 cards in his hand, remind you. It's an attack for 4 until 2 Arcane. So Jacob's going down to 4. This is a lethal attack here from this Angel. For 4, when Jacob is at exactly 4. There's no block with Throw Dagger here. He's going to take 1, go down to 3. Yep, and then we're going to Herald another time with the Courage token. This is going to come in for 7. Jacob at 3 has to block at least 5 on this. But you know we have a Lava Burst in the arsenal. Cannot get Rupture if there's not enough cards in the hand from Jacob. Does not look too particularly good. Looks like he can block with at least 2 cards in his hand here. The one on the bottom looks like at least a 3 block. Looks like there's also a Ignite. This is a Blaze Headlong. This is attack for 5. This is a block for 5. Take 2. He does not have the chess piece anymore, so he cannot flip this for free anymore. He's just going to pass. The Herald would have gone to his Soul. Went to flip something instead of doing the other thing. Messed up the sequence there. All good. Victory is in grasp here from Kevin. He's going to actually flip his own card in his graveyard in his better zone. A little good semantics here. Alright, name of the game here. If the Figment on the board lives, it's going to do 2 arcane damage to Jacob if it lives on the following turn. So Jacob has to kill it on this turn. Ignite for 2 with Go Again here. Most likely coming at Kevin. You do have the Flick Knives here as well. You can go 2 Go Again with the Ignite, 1 with the Kunai. You could flick the Kunai. Oh, and then the attack from the arsenal, then flick the Kunai. If all else fails. But I don't believe this is going to be enough damage to kill Kevin, because we know it's a Lava Burst in the arsenal. Jacob could not keep enough cards here. He needed to keep 1 more card. He go Ignite the Kunai, 1 more card, and then we have a Rupture. And then it would have been over, but couldn't keep that extra card here. So it's just going to be Ignite Kunai into another 2. So it's going to be 2-1, 2-1. For 6 damage in total, but a little bit awkward here. But we know we can prevent 2 damage here with that. See what Kevin is going to do. Has just a normal Prism Herald hand here. It's going to probably take the majority of the cards or just kill Jacob on the back end. He just needs to know how to survive this turn. If the Angel lives and he has 1 card in his hand, he can always attack for 2 arcane damage, but doesn't want to overcommit into trying to keep it here. Two with go again, coming in. Does not want to mess this up from Kevin's side. This is most likely the final turn. If he can figure it out, is going to block 3 on the Ignite. The 1-off kunai is going to happen. If he has a blue here, he could pitch it to block the Phantasmal Footsteps for 1. And then still have 2 floating off the Prism ability to block the Flick Knives that's going to come in for 1 later in this chain from the arsenal. Is actually just going to let the Herald die here. And we got the Lava Burst coming in for 2. We do have the Flick Knives activation as well, so this technically is lethal because it's going to be the 1 from the Flick Knives and then the 2 here. Kevin does have to block this. Yep, I'm going to block 3 on that. I'm going to Flick Knives this last kunai. We can get both of them back here. Then we have 7 here. There's no blue from that hand, so couldn't do that play. But this is 7. Has to give 3 cards at least on this. 3 cards or 2 cards plus the Flick Knives. I'm gonna go with the two cards plus the Flick Knives here. Such an interesting end game here. Jacob has to block this fully, just debating if he wants to give the arms or another card from his hand. If he blocks this with 2 cards from his hand and the arms, he keeps the additional card in his hand. Looks like we have an Ignite, so it's going to be 2 then 1. He's going to give those 3 cards. Gives all 3 cards here. Has one card left in his hand. Looks like it was an Ignite. Kevin drawing up to 4. See a familiar face of that Ignite with 2 with Go Again here. There's a no box call. If that's all you got here. So you'll be able to draw a card back in the end zone. It's going to come in for 1, but also has that Flick Knives to deal an additional 1 here. So this has to be blocked by something. Flick Knives the other one. Puts Kevin to 1. The other kunai is also going to break. Cannot Cindra it back. Kevin gets to draw that extra card off of it. That's all you got. Has another 7 attack Herald here. So you're going to give 3 cards. If Kevin's last card is a yellow, you'd flip. Or just actually just an Arsenal card. Or Arsenal last card. So you give it a 1 card hand. There's a whole bunch of head jabs in this deck. But keeps a 4 attack here with Ravenous Rabble. Four, go again. Pitch that blue in his hand, flip one of the heralds here, block for 4 perfectly. Doesn't have a kunai to flick with the Flick Knives here. Yep, blocks 4 on 4. Lives at 1 here. Jacob will try and back up 4 cards. We have another Herald of Protection in the arsenal for 6. Has the 6 block. We have another Herald here. Has to give the armor piece and block it for 5. And we can draw back up. Kevin in control. Has to just not whiff in his hand with a yellow. Has to draw a Herald. Looks like he did draw a Herald and a yellow. Looks like he drew another pump as well. And pumps it over the block. And Kevin gets it with Prism in the finals, which was such a close game here of that Cindra versus Prism. Might be one of those matchups that we have to look out for in the future. Congrats to Kevin winning the Battle Hardened here. Alright, that's going to be it for that Battle Hardened coverage as well. I'll see you guys in the next episode.